I'd like to apologize for the delay with my video. Truthfully, I had a migraine and it consumes me whenever they come on, because I typically don't take anything for it. I just let it ride. And with that being front and center, I'm of no use completely. So again, I wanted to apologize for that. I'm sorry about that. Secondly, I'd like to thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. This is something I can never give back. So you sharing any amount of it with me, I'm grateful for that. So my subscribers, my viewers, the person who's just stopping by briefly, thank you. It does mean a lot to me. And I thank you for really finding value in us and what we're forming here. I know that a sense of community is very, strange to us because we've always had to do it alone. But yeah, it means a lot, and thank you again. So I wanted to stop by and share with you that I bought a new book that I want us to get into. It's called Mastery by Robert Greene. I'm not sure if you're very familiar with his work, but a lot of people know him from his debut with the 48 Laws of Power. And it's a book that I've also read, and I would hope to discuss with you guys just the same. But I kind of just skimmed through Mastery, and then I guess I'll just sit and read it, and then as time goes by, I'll just come by and yap with you like I always do. So yeah, but I wanted to check in on you and ask you about your journey and tell you what I've been up to besides my migraine. Have you relapsed any at all during the time that you've decided to start this with me? What are you doing currently for yourself? Are you sticking to your boundaries? Are you enforcing those no's? Or are you just like, I can't stand to get to know who I am, so I'd rather just lay in my discomfort? We're not doing that, okay? We are not gonna wait to be motivated. We're not gonna wait for an opportunity to present itself. We are making time. I understand that it's odd and it's new, because where do you even begin trying to know you? So I wanted to just relay a few things that helps me with my self-mastery. I'm not perfect at it, but I started, because the key to this journey is to start. Even if the steps are measly, and even if you're not even sure why you're choosing you just get up and you do it. That's all I'm asking of you, is to get up and do it. Because I promise you that once your body gets used to you doing it, then it just becomes like a rite of passage. It just becomes regular, and you start doing it without even realizing that you're doing it. Again, a very great comparison to what we were talking about is the gym. You can't go in and do 100 push-ups and expect to just be ripped. Me, I'm impatient, so of course I be going in there and I'll be doing my little squats and I'll be doing my sets, and I'm just like, why is my booty not grown yet? I'm impatient. But this journey requires patience. It requires a different approach that I'm trying to encompass. So please bear with me, guys, okay? Because I don't want you to think that this is just something easy and it's a walk in the park. No, some days I really don't want to do it. And not because it may not be beneficial, but more because I feel so stupid. I feel so silly getting up every day talking about, oh, okay, Jade, you got this, you're gonna do fine, and blah blah blah. Like, it just sounds so stupid to say that out loud. So I try not to do that, okay? But it's necessary, because if we're ever gonna, like, literally benefit or grow, then yes, I'll reiterate that discomfort is something that you're gonna have to face. And I was having the conversation with a friend of mine, and they thought that I had grown a little bit, you know, matured. And I was like, you think so? And they're like, yes. Over the time that I've known you, you have made great changes, and I'm proud of you. And I'm not very mushy, so when people start doing that, I'm just like, okay, and I just stand there all awkward and stuff. But it was nice to hear someone admiring me just out the blue. And I just, that feeling, it was weird, but it was good. And I would like you to get that feeling too when you start focusing on yourself, whatever that looks like. So yeah, based on the conversation that we were having, she was talking about well, we were talking about the topic of mastery, because I made her aware that I purchased the book, and it's called Mastery. And she was like, what's your viewpoint on mastering yourself? And I'm like, honestly, mastering yourself, it has more to do with owning every single side of you, every version of you. And pretty much, like, I know people say make peace with it. Of course, it's something that I've also said. But making peace, that's where the work comes in. Because you can't just get up and say, oh, okay, well, I did this and I made peace with it. No, you have to go through the motions of it. And so, as I was talking to her, I was expressing to her that going through the motions of it is where a lot of us just be like, all right, I'm done. This is not it. Because, when you uproot your entire mindset and your emotions to focus on something new, you have to have a talk with yourself. You have to sit with you and understand the decision that you're making. So, in this journey to yourself, the only way you're going to take it seriously is if you really understand what you're trying to accomplish here. And in this case, the journey to oneself is accepting oneself as is. No make believe, no takeaway, no addition, just as is. And I was looking at it because sometimes sometimes I felt like I was going through a withdrawal, and I don't want to make light of anything that anyone goes through, because of course most times when you hear about withdrawal, you think of drugs and alcohol and substance abuse. So I won't know what it's like for a person who struggles with that. So to say I feel like I'm going through withdrawal, I am not trying to make light of anybody else's situation. Some people literally die, okay? But I am aware that us as humans and the connections that we form with other humans, yes, you can definitely die from a broken-hearted syndrome. So, I may not know what a substance abuse withdrawal feels like, or alcoholic withdrawal, or drugs overall, but based on me, especially like tapping out of family member or a friend or a lover, someone who's just been a part of your entire life, a part of your success, a part of your downfall, just intertwined in everything about your day to day, or if it's not that personal where it's day to day, but a very intricate part of you being you. In this journey with yourself, sometimes you know that you have to say goodbyes to certain people for certain reasons, because while you do want the best for them, I wholeheartedly believe that sometimes we know that they take from us in a way that just it wears on our soul, and we're just left like, "Ah, I know that this person is so bad for me, but for some reason they feed the part of me that needed this sort of thing." My demons and their demons formed a unity. So even though they're bad for me, technically, they're also good because they feed into the parts of me that feels alive. Whatever being alive feels like at that moment. So when you have to sit with yourself and be like, this person is no longer going to be a main character in your life. Of course, it feels to me that's my withdrawal. I'm not diminishing the role of anybody else's withdrawals. That's delicate, and I'm aware. But me tapping out of someone too is delicate for me, because this person probably has been there when I couldn't even have been there for myself. And I'm sitting here making the conscious decision to end it, to end whatever union we had, not knowing where life is going to take me. Yes, I feel like I'm going through my withdrawal. So I mean no disrespect, but that's my truth. Getting to the point where you have to say goodbye to someone who you've deemed important, yeah, it can definitely be a trigger, because my safe space is gone. The area where I created my comfort, it's gone. And I don't know what to do without it. Like, I know that them being gone is better for me, because I'm taking a chance on me to become a better representation of me. So in order for me to do that, then yes, I have to let them go. So by letting them go, it seems easy and it seems heartless, and it seems like, well, how could you? But have you ever, like, I know I'm not alone when I say that it feels worse than a heartbreak when you have to say goodbye to maybe your favorite person. So yeah, that's what mastering myself comes with. It comes with me deciding, are you going to do this? Or are you going to stay in a place where you don't grow? And when I looked at it, I had a pattern where I could go out and do whatever I want because my safety net was right there. But that's the thing. It was always safe. I never really wanted to take a chance on me, because what are the odds that I become successful in every sense of the word? What are the odds that I literally get up one day and take a chance on me and it works out? So when you feed the voices that goes against building you up, yes, yes, okay, I hope that makes sense. But I want to grow for me, because when I close my eyes and when I envision myself, I'm above where I'm at right now. And I know what it takes to get there. It takes dedication, it takes discipline, and it takes keeping your integrity intact, regardless of who, regardless of what. So when I have to master myself, I have to know that when I have to cut those relationships off, that is eating me alive, I have to stand firm on that, because this is the only way it's gonna work. That is it. And if you're not strong in your decision and your plan, because you should always have a plan, you just don't run out there and do things. It's gonna backfire. You every step that you're taking, plan it, but not in a sense where, okay, I have to follow the structure ABCD. No, just plan it that, hey, I'm headed here, and in order to get there, I will have to either add this, subtract that, multiply the other, divide and conquer, right? That's just me being a nerd. But when you're doing that, you will get chills. Just thinking of cutting off your favorite person, it should give you chills. Because if they really mean something to you, well, what do you mean that you're going to just cut them out of your life because you're doing this journey with yourself? Why can't they come? Of course they can. Of course, help as much people as you can. But you have to help you first, because the strength that you have is barely any, and is only able to fuel you. So when you sit and you have a plan to get to where your success is, of course, some of the best people that you know are also some of the worst people. So when you have to say goodbye to them in order to put you first, it does affect you. It does make you wonder if you're just being selfish. It does make you wonder, is this really gonna be beneficial for me? Am I just cutting people out of my life on a probability? Like, what's going on? And with me, I was always there. Like, I got up and I decide, hey, I'm gonna do better for myself. But then when you remember about your favorite person, or this person that you love, this person you care for, and you know that they've been there for you, but you know that they've also broken parts of you that you've ignored. Some of us, we do know the truth that certain people aren't good for us, but we like to keep them around because you'd rather stick with the devil that you know. I get that. So that was always where I double back on my standards, and I erased everything, and I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna keep this person, even when it's breaking my heart, even when they are not aligning perfectly with me. I'm gonna keep them around because I don't know what life is like without them. I don't know what life is supposed to be like without them. And I don't want to take that chance, because what if I give up on them, and that's when a breakthrough comes for them, and now they're elevating, and I'm sitting over here like, man, I really shouldn't have tapped out of this person. I really should have just stuck it out. And so you start blaming yourself. You start wondering if you're greedy. You're gonna start wondering if you're just crazy. How dare you think that you're just gonna be a 1 in a million opportunity, you know? And for me, I've always just double back and be like, screw this journey. I'm never gonna try to erase these people out of my life. I have to keep them, even when it is causing more damage to have them in my corner. I justify the damage by the good, with the good that they've done, because I do have amazing people. But as equally amazing as they are just as toxic. I'm also toxic. So I'm also someone that people would have to cut off if they're going to try to grow a certain kind of way. But I'm fair enough to know that even if they don't want to say it, I will look at them and I'm like, this journey that you're about to go on, I can't be a part of that, because who I am and what I represent is not going to be in your best interest for you growing. I've always been blunt like that, actually. I know who I am. And so if you're trying to level up a certain kind of way, I have no problem with removing myself. And I have no hard feelings, honestly. I see the world differently. I process things differently, but you'd have to get to know me to really understand my train of thoughts. Most people think that they'll probably offend me or something, and I'll understand. Were there times though when someone say, "Hey, I gotta move on from you," and I was like, "What? Are you crazy?" Of course, but that was back then when I was just existing. I didn't really care how I presented myself, and my demons, they controlled me, and whatever they controlled, I was cool with that. And sometimes people try to leave, and I was just like, no, I'm not accepting you going. And I mean, I can be very convincing on why you should stay, but I try not to do that to people. But back then, it depends on just how much I became intertwined with you. Then I'll tell you, no, I don't want you to go. But I rarely say that. Like, you really, really, really have to be someone that I really love, really care for me to tell you, no, you're not leaving. I'm very good at controlling that side of me that expresses emotions, I guess. So it's very seldom that you'll hear me say, please stay. So yes, I'm sorry, the conversation got sidetracked. So let's bring it back, right? So when it comes to mastering me, I had to bring every bit of me to the forefront. The parts that I hid, the parts that I adored, the parts that I was like, whatever, it's neither here nor there. I had to bring everything front and center and deal with it, because I understood that the journey that I'm on with myself, this time I have to take it serious. This time I cannot falter. This time I have to put me first. Because just as I chose them, they chose me, and it was like a back and forth thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, there's no progress there. So while they might mean the world to me, and while I might mean the world to them, there are parts of me that just won't agree with them, and then there are parts of them that just won't agree with me. And I hope I said that right. But yeah, in mastering myself, I had to be aware that I control what I can. Does that make sense? I hope so. I had to make peace. And the only way I can make peace was by dealing with the things that were hindering my progress. And it was not pleasant. As I said, that was my withdrawal moment. That's when I would typically just be like, I'm not doing this. This is too much. I don't want to face all of these things that I successfully suppressed for all these years. Now I should deal with them. I don't want to do that. The entire reason of me suppressing it is to not deal with it. But that's not the best approach to have, especially if you want to genuinely get to know yourself. And so I had to try to understand why I dismissed them, why I suppressed them. I had to bring them front and center, like, okay, Jade and Jadettes, let's have a chat. And it wasn't something I wanted to do, but little by little, I allowed myself to experience it. And I forgave myself for the things I had no control over. And I don't know, after a time, it didn't carry as much weight anymore. But I had to do it a step at a time. If I tackle it today, or if I at least try to tackle it today, and it becomes overwhelming, I dial it back. I go back to the drawing board and I like, okay, I planned on tackling this part of me, but it was too much for me. So, how do I approach this? And that's how I would be just there talking to myself. And then I would find a different approach. The different approach probably didn't work. I go back to the drawing board and I just keep at it. I keep at it, and eventually something clicked. And I was like, okay, that was bad. That was really bad. I had no right to be a part of that. But it already happened. I cannot undo it. I don't have a time machine. I can't beat myself up about it. I just have to know that it happened. And it probably wasn't the best choice. But I had to make a decision between the lesser of two evils. And that's what I did. I started accepting me. Don't let things consume you that you cannot control. As I've stated in prior videos, stoicism is a very important role in my life. I was not on board with it because I felt like it didn't align with me. But my grandma, yes, she went by life using a very stoic approach. But I didn't want to understand it because I felt like she was just accepting things that she really shouldn't have to. But she did. And sometimes it made me very furious because, lady, what? But she was always so peaceful. And it just triggered something in me to understand the way she viewed life, the way she viewed the world. And, She expressed it the best way she could. I attempted it. I just kept doubling back. I fell back on it because I'm like, I am not gonna, no, I can't let certain things slide. Are you crazy? I have to take it to hell and back. Like, come on. And so I would slip up. And so this time around, I was like, I'm not gonna slip up anymore. I'm gonna really see what's out there. Because why do I keep getting stuck at this level? Why do I choose discomfort? What's going on with me? Why do I get complacent in terms of growing? Why am I afraid to get to know me? Should I be afraid of something? And if I should be afraid of something, what is that something? You know? And so I guess in this case of withdrawal with human connections, not substance abuse, because that's very serious, and I don't want anyone to think that I don't take that situation seriously, because I do. So, withdrawal that I'm discussing is human to human connection. With my withdrawal, oftentimes, as it came to choosing me or choosing people or choosing the life that I've always known, choosing the things that protects me and comforts me, yes, I always fall back on those because I don't want to look silly chasing after a possibility that I'm not even sure is going to happen. But one day I decided to try something randomly. I decided I wasn't going to control what happens next. And of course, I took it a step at a time. I tried something small. One day it failed. I'm like, see, I know it was going to fail. But I was like, no, I'm going to shut that voice out. I try something else that's small. It worked out. Okay, now we're at a 50-50 tie. So I leveled it up a bit more and I tried something else. It went beautifully. I tried something else. It also went beautiful. Tried something else. I fell flat on my face. But the thing is, even when I fell flat on my face, because it didn't work out in those small moments, it was refreshing. So I started motivating myself. I'm like, all right, well, maybe if I do this instead of doing that, maybe if I come at it this way, and maybe if I do a little bit less of that. And to my surprise, there became a healthy rotation of things working out, things not working out. But for the most part, I experienced it without limitations. And I became intrigued. And I decided I'm going to stop limiting myself. And my withdrawal symptoms, suddenly, I was okay. Like, definitely, there were moments when the flashbacks, that's what comes at you unexpectedly. And the memories, it makes you smile, it makes you sad. It's bittersweet. But low key, you're like, I'm glad I did this. Because this happened. And not just because that happened, but because yourself, your inner self, it felt so free, so light. The weight of the world, it was still there, but I didn't have to drag it with me. I was able to rest it over there in a corner. And bit by bit, I was able to unpack something from the weight of the world that I had allowed to consume me, that I had to drag over all my hills and valleys as I, stroll through life. I was able to open the bag filled with the weight of the world, and little by little, I take things out, I look at them, I go through them, and then it just became a little bit more peaceful. It didn't bother me as much. So I get it. I get that you versus you is not something that you feel like you're strong enough to conquer. But you can. I did it. But I won't lie to you and act as if it was just butterflies and daisies and beautiful sunsets and sunrise. No. There were dark clouds. There was rainfall. But even in those moments where it was not as pleasant, you got to feel the rain on your skin. You get to feel the wind in your face. You had the chance to touch a butterfly. What I'm trying to say is you get to let it go. You get to meet you little by little. And all you want to do is hug yourself and say, I am so sorry that it took me so long for me to realize how much you needed me. I know you can't literally hug yourself. I mean, you can, but it's probably going to look weird if you do that in public. But you're going to realize that the little girl or the little boy that you once sheltered and protected because the world was big, bad, and ugly, you're going to realize that they were waiting on you all along to just come back and let them know that I am sorry. I am sorry that I betrayed you, that I battered you, that I bruised you, that I hurt you. I am sorry that I did not get to love you until now. I am sorry that I refused everything about you. And it's one of the most liberating feelings, actually, when you realize that you needed you all along. Every scar, every imperfection, every flaw, according to society, you won't care. When you're faced with your nakedness of just you, you're gonna be like, man, I royally screwed up. I shunned you because I allowed the voices of others to get a little bit louder. I didn't even hear you crying for help. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope what I'm saying makes any form of sense. Mastering yourself, in order to master yourself, you gotta love you as you are. With everything that you've been through, with everything that's been done against you, people are gonna come at you. People are gonna tear you down. Sometimes it's people that you build a pedestal for and put them on it. But you see, that's where you messed up, because you built them up and shrunk yourself. Why did you shrink yourself? But we've been brainwashed to think that who we are, it will never suffice. See, the world preaches about individuality and be yourself. But the minute you start to be yourself, everything changes. You see the ugliest sides of people that you would have never thought. And you're just like, wow, that is crazy. I know it's a shot in the dark to choose you. But I promise you, I was done with this life. I did not care what happened. And I'm thankful that the people that I associated myself with, they didn't go for that. You crazy? I'm gonna pull you up and I'm gonna hold your hand and I'm gonna walk with you along the way. And shout out to those people that I've met, man. Y'all are amazing, and I can't even begin to express enough gratitude to cover for the times that they had me when I couldn't have myself. But you know what's crazy is they always knew that at some point in the journey, it was a full stop for them, or a detour, or a temporary setback. They knew that. They knew that in that moment you needed the help to believe in you again. So they did that for you. And while they were doing that for you, they knew this girl right here, Jade, she don't see it yet, but she's gonna shine. But until she sees the glossiness of her shining, I'm gonna pull her with me. So if there are people in your life who truly, truly, truly are helpful, I understand that you wouldn't want to close the door on them, so you don't have to. But I promise you, more times than none, they know that you gotta go. They know that your encounter was gonna only be for a moment. They say sometimes we meet angels in disguise. I've met people who, for a moment, they were my angel in disguise. And I got what I needed to get from them so I could carry on to the next level. So in mastering myself, I guess to conclude all of this before I go on my rants, right? In mastering myself, it meant that I had to double back for the girl that I tucked away because I thought I was keeping her safe. Of course, she appreciates the safety, but she wanted a moment to also deal with it front and center with me. Not versions of me, not personas, not personalities, me. At some point, I forgot who I was because I was busy saving everybody else. Because I felt like by saving everyone else, then at least I did some good in this world. And I'll never take that back because I know that in some ways I was their angel too. But with everyone that I was saving, I was giving them the opportunity to see themselves while I was hiding me in a place that I thought would be safer. Because the world and how it is, it's no place for a person with a genuine heart. But that's exactly what the world needs. A heart of gold. So yeah, to master me, I had to go back and get her. And we've been thugging through life together, you know? And I got her, and she got me. And so I encourage you to give yourself a shot. I know that this world is crazy, okay? I know. But this world would be nothing without you. I promise you that. So I hope you get to master yourself. I'm going to be here every step of the way with everything that I've read, everything that I just randomly think of and talk for a very long time. Apparently, I make long videos because I'm like 40 minutes in, so I'm going to shut up now. But all I want to say is it is possible to know every bit of you, to accept everything that you've done, and to just know that you won't allow a person's perception of you to be fact. A fact of a matter about you should be by you. Okay? So, as I said, I am going to shut up now because I've been talking for a very long time and my head still hurts, but it's not a migraine anymore. I'm going to go and try to get some rest, but definitely I'm putting out this video so that you guys can have something. And I'll come back probably midweek and give you another video just because I slacked on this one because I was in so much pain, and I don't take pills. I try to drink little herbal concoctions from my Caribbean family, you know, and it helps to a point, but I've had headaches for all my life, so I don't think it's ever going to go away. But it does help to kind of soothe it for me. So I promise that's the only reason why that this video was late. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Please, please, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Just tell me what you think, okay? And we got this, definitely. Mastering yourself is possible. It just starts with you and it ends with you, and everything is about you. This time, we're standing firm on those boundaries. So yes, if you have to go through the withdrawal from people that you love and adore and cherish, yes, when you feel like you don't have enough strength, come on over here and be like, Jade, I'm gonna need something, girl, because yeah, and I promise I got you. I'm gonna be right here. I'm never leaving, okay? I believe in you, and I believe in our community. You got this. So keep me posted on your next adventure in knowing yourself. I'm serious. Get to know yourself. It's worth it. All right, bye.